Good morning. Here's the latest on the major developments shaping the day, starting globally, then Australia, then local issues. Globally, conflict and geopolitical risk are again intersecting with energy and markets. In Washington, President Trump is asking Congress for billions tied to Iran, but faces resistance from parts of his own party, underscoring how difficult it will be to sustain funding and political backing for any escalation. ABC reports the administration has been negotiating directly with Iran this week in pursuit of a longer-term agreement, but with significant hurdles if it is to outperform the Obama-era nuclear deal. Separately, Al Jazeera analysis highlights Iran's leverage in the Strait of Hormuz, a reminder that any deterioration in the relationship can quickly translate into shipping and oil price volatility. In Europe, the heat wave is intensifying and shifting east. The BBC reports France is warning that even young people's health is at risk, while ABC says at least 101 million people were forecast to face temperatures above 35 degrees, with hundreds of deaths believed linked to the extreme heat. The scale of the event is becoming a material economic story as well, with impacts on labor productivity, infrastructure strain, and energy demand. In the Americas, Venezuela is dealing with a major disaster. SBS reports the death toll has risen to 162 with nearly 1,000 injured, and SMH reports thousands are missing with hundreds still trapped. The BBC describes severe damage around Caracas and notes the quakes are a major blow amid political uncertainty. The Conversation adds the two earthquakes occurred seconds apart, but were seismologically distinct, complicating the picture for aftershocks and response planning. On the technological revolution and AI, the Financial Times reports J.P. Morgan's Jamie Dimon has promoted two potential successors in a leadership reshuffle, a reminder that big banks are positioning for a period where technology investment, including AI, is central to competitiveness. The FT also flags froth in private markets, with Alliance's CIO warning that a SpaceX bond sale signals bubble territory, and separately notes the increasingly unusual dynamics of venture capital. On AI specifically, the FT reports Anthropic has hired an economist noted for provocative views on human survival, highlighting how leading AI labs are expanding beyond engineering into governance, risk and long-horizon strategy. Turning to Australia, national security and policy decisions are in focus. SBS reports the final ISIS bride has been granted a permit to return to Australia with her child, after being barred on national security grounds, according to Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke. In integrity and the public service, SMH reports a parliamentary inquiry has heard that delays and poor communication at the National Anti-Corruption Commission are leaving whistleblowers in limbo and risking procedural burnout. On the Australian economy and household pressures, SMH reports childcare costs could rise by hundreds of dollars a year for some families after the government agreed to lift fee caps, with advocates warning budgets are already at breaking point. For tax time, SBS reports some proposed deductions won't be available until next year, and the ATO will be watching certain claims closely this season. On government policy and the longer-term reform agenda, the Conversation reports the Education Minister has introduced a bill that would cap domestic university places even as the government wants overall student numbers to grow, raising questions about how those goals can be reconciled. The Conversation also reports on NDIS reforms described as confronting, but necessary, with implications for around 160,000 Australians. Locally, in Western Australia, The Guardian reports the new Perth film studios costed at about $290 million and built on a former cow paddock are actively pitching to major global players including Netflix, Disney, Warner Bros. And Universal, as WA tries to capture a larger share of international screen production and associated jobs. That's the key factual update to start the day.